That's cool. He was watching.
I know.
3, 2. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there with us while we paid some bills and took some pisses.
And got some beers.
Got some beers, made some drinks. Basically, took care of the alcoholism portion of behind the show. So we've been talking about a pretty heavy topic, something that is, I assume, going to offend a lot of people. So be prepared to send your backlash to Richard.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to read it at all. But we've been talking about Kareem Hunt. We've been talking about Reuben Foster. I guess it would benefit us to also mention Joe Mixon, who he straight punched a woman in the face in college.
Yep.
Still got drafted. And I don't remember what round, but it definitely wasn't a first round.
Third round, I think.
He should have been a first round pick. So
Yeah.
he lost 2 rounds, but still got picked up. We don't talk about it much. And there was video of that one too.
I think because it was done in college, so it's like he wasn't in the professional light.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right.
No,
I'm
I know.
saying
Yeah.
Kinda hard.
that's
Just kidding.
that's the reason why though, is because I mean, come on, you're a fucking kid. Like
Yep.
you're not saying that it's okay
It
to
justifies-
it justifies
right.
the situation, but like as an adult, as someone getting paid millions of dollars a year,
Yeah.
And I think he was in college. I think he even sat out that
year.
he was suspended that
Yeah.
year. So
I can't really be a hypocrite either because he's not one of my fantasy football teams. So
yeah. And then of course
I feel bad for all the Kareem Hunt owners out there.
I know. I was
Just
so
kidding. I feel bad for the lady. Just kidding.
Oh, sorry. Me
No.
too. I went like this. I was so glad I don't have Hunt on my team.
I drafted Spencer Ware and had him on my bench the whole year. So
Good job, dude.
I feel like you deserve a round of applause.
some
That's
people
awesome.
have been asking me what
That's
I knew
awesome.
about the situation and why I held on to him. And let's just say I have connections with TMZ.
Yeah, you had inside
I have
scoop.
inside knowledge. Yeah.
What made you draft him?
I was honestly hoping that Kareem Hunt would get hurt.
What kind
Like,
of hurt though?
it's
What
that-
kind of hurt?
Well, I mean, if he pulled an ACL, he's out for the year. I've got the starter. Even if he missed a few weeks, which he's going to,
He's missing the whole season.
I've got his backup. Like it's
Yeah,
the
I
How did
get
you
it.
do last week?
like 12 points, not great.
Oh.
But,
This is
I mean,
your
not
year.
bad for a backup. You know what I mean?
Hopefully,
This is your year. You should feel
Absolutely
lucky
not.
right
Kevin's
now.
been knocking on the door in the last couple
Yeah.
of years.
You
So.
should
I really
you should
have.
play the lotto.
Last time I did, I won $6, so I can't
That's
complain
pretty
on
cool.
that. But so we also had the Ezekiel Elliott situation last year. He sat
Well,
out.
he didn't hit anybody. He fucking grabbed some girl's titties. I'm just saying.
You're right.
Well, they were like on a. They
My
were like
expression is being recorded.
they were on a boat and like he went behind her and like.
Yeah,
did the-
jiggle-
I've done that
who
before.
doesn't jiggle the
I have a
tit?
couple videos of me doing that, so
I
just
could have
saying.
sworn it was a Pokemon when they said jiggly tits. But it went down as not as much fun as it sounds like. It went down as sexual assault.
Yeah,
So that happens.
It's
You
frowned
get
upon.
yeah, it's frowned upon.
masturbating on an airplane.
You get a red dot above your house, and then unfortunately, the Ray Rice situation was
Oh, that one was brutal though.
that one was brutal.
But he's still with his wife.
and you know what? I feel sorry.
Well, I'm
For-
saying like
I
if his
feel
wife
sorry for
fucking,
his wife. Obviously, I feel sorry for that situation, but I also feel sorry for him because he has tried to rectify his life, his situation. He's worked with his wife. He's worked with women's groups. He's shown a legitimate remorse and a legitimate attempt to, I don't want to say pay his debt, but make up for the mistakes. And, this country loves a comeback story.
What are you gonna say, Candace?
This,
Nothing.
Oh.
if you've never made a mistake in your life, like hats off to you,
Fucking liar.
But
Exactly.
Jesus. I made like 3 mistakes today.
he's, and I give him credit. His wife stood by him. They worked through it. It was the worst. It's the worst black eye on the NFL. The awful
It was
term, I know,
horrible.
but
You're right. Good for them. And I hope he is an example to show everybody that he made a mistake and now he's coming back from it. And she did stand by him. So let's just hope it never happens again.
I'm just glad he helped me win his fantasy
that's how you say,
championship.
yeah, you did ride him the whole time.
Yeah, him and Adrian Peterson.
And then I know it's a different situation, but like while we're talking about comeback stories, I'm a huge animal lover. I'm a huge dog lover. And Michael Vick's situation, that dude went to jail for 2 years for dogfighting. 2 years of his NFL life he lost. Came back, comeback player of the year, I think. And then on
Can't
top
with the Eagles.
played with the Eagles. He played with Pittsburgh. He played with a couple of different teams, and then repaid all of the debt. And he's just building his life back up. So I think we all kind of,
I think he's even on TV in some,
Yeah.
every once in a while.
you know.
Is
And
he
he's
allowed
a-
to own a dog?
No, I don't think so.
He's not allowed to own a dog. He did go to the judge to ask if his daughters could have a dog because they wanted one. And I think the judge wanted to know breeds and things like that. So
He's like, you can get a chow.
yeah, no,
He's
no,
like,
like
you could get a teacup Yorkie.
yeah, like a little.
That is it. And it
little
has to have
girl
a bowl.
dog. You can
There's
get
no
girl
fighting
dogs,
this one.
nothing over
It's,
10 pounds.
it's not right.
Just because you get a girl doesn't mean it doesn't fight, right?
Yeah.
We just went over this.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
Is it a big dog or is it a little dog?
I don't know about all of the details of Michael Vick, but you know, you just
I'm so sorry.
That was
You-
terrible.
you hope for the redemption story. You hope that somebody can pick
That's
themselves
Candace's
up by
fucking
their
laughing
bootstraps.
back.
Yeah. Well, there's you're going to hell, Candace.
Honestly, let's just be
I
real.
am.
But you're not going to hell for that comment. You're going to hell for
A lot of other
stuff, so you're fine.
You're like Reuben Foster. This ain't that bad,
Yeah.
but it's all the stuff we don't know about.
Yeah.
I'm not in the public eye.
So I have a question for our resident lady on the panel, and it's gonna come off awful. It's gonna come off really bad, but yeah, you know, it is what it is.
If I said it, I meant it.
From a woman's point of view, I'd like your take on this. Given this situation and the reoccurrences of domestic violence in the NFL, and we'll just talk NFL, we won't talk about life necessarily, but women are to be treated equally, and I think, like, I know Richard, myself, as far as equally, it means we take it like you are equal in worth, opinions, but I still open a door, I still going in and out. There's certain things that are equality, but then there's also that chivalry that goes with it. But in the situation where women want to be treated equally as far as this situation would go, if that had been a man, would you have been as offended? And if the answer is no, I wouldn't have been offended, where does the equality come in?
I would have been offended. I would have. Because I just think that if we are trying to be better people, we're going to try to diffuse the situation the right way, man or woman. That's why I was trying to tell you. I didn't mean it to say that it's right to hit women.
I don't think any of us meant that it's.
I know,
right.
but I
Yeah.
know that it comes off that way. So my point was
More
when I
free than you.
said when I said that he didn't kick her that hard. I guess my thought process was she went after him.
Mhm.
She antagonized him. So in a sense, she wasn't sitting there like poor little me. I'm a damsel in distress. I need somebody to come rescue me. She was like, I'm drunk. For whatever reason, she had beer balls and she went after him. Whether it was verbally or physically, she went after him. And then that's exactly what happened. So my thing is, to answer your question, man or woman, I feel like if you're going to diffuse the situation, there's the right way to do it. He did not do it the right way. Man or woman, whoever was kicked or who was not, there were two wrongs. And I just think that if women want to be treated equal, men should be treated equal as well. I feel like they should be the same thing. I feel like whether it's a man or a woman, there should still be, how could I say it? Like morals, right? There should still be like that ethical, like, okay, that's not right. You're gonna get in trouble for it, and so.
So when you said that she antagonized him, the first thing I thought of, and I don't know, like, you know, Amber Rose does a like slut walk or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like they always say, oh, just because you dress sexy doesn't mean that we're trying to have sex or whatever. Like you know, that's like the guy saying like, oh, they're antagonizing us, like they're putting it out there. Like, I'm not saying it's
really,
equal.
what guy is saying that?
There are people that say that, like, oh, girls dressing sexy, so like she's asking for it. You never heard a guy say that?
Oh yeah, I've heard that before.
She's asking for it. She's
If she
asking.
didn't want me to
asking for
grab
anything.
her ass, she shouldn't have been wearing a miniskirt, something like that.
Okay.
You
I'm
never
not saying-
heard
I'm
that?
not-
I'm not.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's
I
not
have,
coming
I have.
from us,
I'm not
but-
saying it's right.
No.
That's what I thought of when you said she was antagonizing him. Like that's
Because she was wearing a skirt.
she probably was, wasn't she?
I gotta
She
go.
was.
I think
She
was,
was. She was. But I meant from what they're saying, she called him the N-word.
What's the N word?
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
So how do you
It's worth
expect
a
him to
try.
not take that to offense? I don't think he handled it the right way, but she could have easily walked away. She was already out of the room. Nobody was touching her. Nobody was around her.
No, yeah, she came back, right? She
She
came back
came,
from like round
yeah,
2
you
and
could
shit.
see there was like a good maybe 3-second pause where she didn't say anything. Well,
She's out of the picture almost. at the
yeah,
end of the video.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then she says something, and that's when he goes after her. And it's like you have to take responsibility for your actions and for what you say, and that should go both ways, men and women.
This is a little bit, this is kind of taking a step away from domestic violence, but would you include or would you incorporate in that statement as far as women have a responsibility in these situations to include the Me Too movement?
I think society does. I don't think it's a man or woman thing. I think as men we need to fucking
No,
like
go
be,
ahead.
no. I know.
I
I
know.
don't
hear it. That looked like it was gonna be a
Yeah, I
good
was
stare.
waiting. Did you see my face? I was like,
As men, we need to fucking figure out our like. We need to take responsibility for our actions.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying women don't, but like you were saying earlier about the girl, she needed to like take responsibility for herself. Like you're putting yourself in that situation. You went back. Like
well, they
but
were
then-
at a club
yeah,
too.
but then the
You went to a
man,
hotel
but the
room.
man didn't need to fucking come back at her. Like
Yeah.
he was already in his room. I think.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think he handled it the
yeah,
right
so-
way either.
Yeah, so I think
Just stay in your
as
room.
societal, like we need to figure it out. Like it's both sides. It's not men or women. Like
Well,
it's,
but the reason I'm asking is because a lot of the Me Too movement started with the Harvey Weinstein situation, which I mentioned earlier, where some of the women who, to be crude, some of the women who blew Harvey Weinstein
got famous.
got famous.
Yeah.
And then you come back after and you're like, hey, listen, some of them have said, I was raped. And I think if you are pinned down in an alley or a situation where you can't escape, I classify that as rape. If you have a choice to walk out of the room, even if it costs you your career,
They decided to
That's
sign
not
with the
rape.
devil.
To me, that's
they
not
signed with the devil, and they
does
Well,
decided.
that offend you as a woman?
My thing is, how do you know what really happened?
I don't, but some of these women aren't out there saying, a lot of them have come out and said, like, hey, he told me that if I wanted a career, I had to blow him, and so I got on my knees and I blew him. To me, that's not, I don't classify that as rape.
It's leverage.
It's,
I don't either because she did it willingly.
so when you say women have a responsibility in these situations.
It's sexual harassment, maybe.
Oh, of course, and class, chalk it up.
Maybe even could you even put that like in maybe blackmail, like where
Yeah,
he
it's
was
yeah.
probably trying to say like, hey, you'll get this part, or
I would-
if you don't do this, you'll be fired.
I don't know if that's something you vote on, but like if I was a juror and that was
Yeah.
That be a category.
I would say, yeah, he's guilty of blackmail, like 2 years or what.
What did he get?
Yeah.
Has he been
I don't
sentenced?
know if he's been sentenced. Yeah, the legal aspects of it, I kind of stopped following. But would you say that in the Me Too movement there is a responsibility on the woman's side for that?
Yes, I feel like this whole Me Too movement needs to stay in its lane. Like, we are going to protest because we don't want to be sexually harassed, right? So let's keep it very clear.
Yeah.
We were sexually harassed, we were raped, we were, for whatever reason, I didn't want to do this sexual act. I was forced, he put his weight on me, I couldn't get out of the room. But you can't put yourself in that category if you're telling me that he told you your career and then you decided you wanted to.
Yeah, because
love him.
what if
That's
he was sitting on the couch and was like, all right, this is the role you're trying to go for. If you really want this role, you know, suck my dick.
Yeah, and if
And
you,
she
I
says,
mean,
and
if
she
you
says
do it,
no, She walks out.
How-
So be it. If she sucks his dick.
Which well, it
But,
was
like-
her action. She did it. That, I feel like women should take responsibility. I feel like now it's so foggy.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like somebody started this Me Too movement, and then everybody kind of just started chiming in. It became a hype thing, and now, is it even clear what we're fighting for?
To
'Cause
me,
so
no.
many- right?
If I'm going to answer
So-
your question, no. I don't really know.
So-
Because if you put 1,000 situations into the hashtag Me Too, I would probably throw
How many of them are the truth?
20% of them out.
Yeah.
Like,
How many of them
no.
are? How many of them have like tweaked little lies? That's why I feel like we should be held accountable. What comes out of our mouth? If you want it to be taken
Wow.
serious,
There's
Oh
your
my God.
problem.
Whatever we decide to say,
Damn it, Richie.
I
It's too
forgot.
easy. It
I
was too
forgot
easy.
the people that I'm in front of. I'm sorry.
It was too easy.
I'm sorry. I forgot who I was in front of. Whatever we decide or we choose to say, we need to be held accountable for it. So if you're gonna say something and accuse somebody of
You-
doing wrong to you, you need to make sure what you're saying is
So
the
you're
truth.
saying if you said it, you should mean it.
Oh,
Sure.
plug the show.
Yes.
All right, another situation. And then we'll get back to the NFL and Reuben Foster. So another situation is a girl goes to a party, gets drunk, and her friends leave her. And she wakes up and she's been raped.
Fuck the best friends.
Yeah, fucked up ass friends. What responsibility do you put on her? Because I put 90% on the man who assaults her. But I also put 10% on a woman to be in that situation. Outside of somebody who is drugged, you know, because then you can drink. You can handle your alcohol. Let's say you intend to have 4 beers and you know for a fact you can walk out with your head high and be fine, clear-minded, but yet you get something slipped in your drink, 4 drinks, you're out. That's a different situation.
Yeah.
I'm talking the girl who's partying, having fun, doesn't know her limit, and just gets shit-faced blackout drunk, and then gets sexually assaulted. Give me a percentage of his fault, her fault.
I feel like it's 100% his.
Okay.
Because, I mean, do you really know how fucked up you're gonna get when you go out to a party? You don't know.
I don't know.
Whether
Fuck
you
the
know-
one we get tonight.
Whether you know your limit or not, I mean,
There you
that's
go.
something that what you can say, I'm gonna go and have 4 beers, and then you're 4 beers in, and you don't realize how 4 beers are
And
gonna
she's
hit
like,
you.
that was a quick
Did you
15
eat?
minutes. Let's go 4
Did-
more.
Did you eat? Did you not eat? You know, I'm not trying to make fun of the situation, but I'm just trying to say that I feel like any man who was brought up the right way,
Mhm.
it's not right to do that.
I agree with you.
It's not right to take advantage of somebody who is not aware of what is going on.
Oh, listen, just
So I
for the
feel-
record,
so
just for
100
the record.
So to
I
answer your
agree.
question, 100.
And 0?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she went out to have a good time. It happens to everybody. It happens to men. It happens to women.
I blame. I would say 99% the guy's fault, 0.5% her fault, 0.5% her friend's fault. Her friend should fucking
Yeah, that's.
make sure that she fucking gets home safe. Like,
I
how you
did
gonna let
forget
your
about
friend
friends.
just pass
Yeah, I
out?
did.
Yeah, but not
But-
everybody's a good friend.
but
So
I-
I mean,
but-
how are you really gonna throw that
Well,
on?
then why the fuck would you be their friend?
So,
Well, I mean, what if you went to the party by yourself?
He
So
just
why
said
is it-
your friends left you?
What if?
What if?
We're throwing what ifs now.
oh yeah, this is the what if show.
I mean,
Uh,
the girl should take some responsibility. Like, if you feel yourself getting all fucked up, like
I mean, how old is she?
Well, okay, so let me go back to what you said.
36.
I feel like she was. I don't know.
So-
I'm gonna make this. So
I feel like she was drinking that poor
not
Denny's before
serious.
she came to
Right,
hang out with
exactly.
us.
I feel like she pre-partied first.
So, when you were saying earlier that a woman has some responsibility in the Kareem Hunt situation,
When she's conscious. Well, okay, this is Okay, go ahead. Let me let you finish. 'cause-
I'm just saying is what you're saying is that women have a responsibility in the Kareem Hunt. This woman has some responsibility. Women should take some responsibility in some of these situations. But is that not the case for my fake scenario? And actually, unfortunately, it is a real scenario that's happened probably
Yeah, exactly.
countless times.
well,
Are you saying that in that situation, the woman has no responsibility to,
Because she's inebriated.
because she's, but what about the responsibility of getting to that point where she's that drunk?
okay, I'll give you that. So let me change my answer.
Okay, want to go 99 half like he did?
No, let's do,
I said 90-10. If the percentage is.
what would make you happy?
She was sober.
You know what?
And willing.
Because my thing is I get what you're saying. I get what you're
There you
saying.
go.
I completely understand what you're saying. You need to take care of yourself. You need to be in the right mind. You need to know
Yes.
where to
Yes.
be and who to be around.
Yes. And if I had a daughter,
But
I
it
think
doesn't always go that way.
I understand. But if I had a daughter, I think my lesson to her or my push to her would be, and I don't know. Tell me if this sounds awful, but if you act like a lady, there is zero doubt who's wrong if you're not treated like a lady. But if that's an incorrect or insensitive statement, tell me. I'm not a girl, much. I may act like one, I may cry like one, but that's me. So, like I said, what numbers would make me happy? Anywhere from a 99% / 1%,
I love how you're making her fight. It's defiant. And
all
it's
the way
Yeah, you gotta be so
all the way to a 50-50%. I would be happy with those. I would be happy if it was 49-51, 49% women, 51%. I'd be fine with you saying that it was 1% to 99%. My only push, my only, I don't even want to call it a public service announcement, but with so many of my friends popping out girls, I want them to be treated like a woman should be treated in the positive way. Please don't spin that negatively. A woman should be treated like a woman.
So,
But at the same time, I would want my daughter to act like a lady.
so how do you act like a lady? You don't get drunk.
I don't put yourself in situations where it is unsafe.
So she went to a party with her friends
Mhm.
and was having fun,
Her friends left her.
and her
Her friends
friends
left
left
her.
her.
Mhm.
But at that point, she was too drunk to know.
I don't know.
And so that takes away from the fact that she was even being a lady. So technically, what you're telling me is, so then you tell me what a lady is.
You tell me percentages first, because that was the question that you were trying to.
I only wanted
dodge.
to know. I don't really care what percentages you want.
Okay.
I was curious.
I think Candace has put herself in those situations.
Because what I'm trying to say is, now you're going into how a lady should act, and if she is drunk, she's not a lady, which is not.
No.
the case.
I didn't say that at all.
If
Wait
you're
a minute.
if you're
I
a
didn't say
drunk
that at
lady
all.
out there, I will be your man.
Yeah, I did not say that at all.
Okay. So let me just
Wait a
finish
minute,
then.
okay.
So she was in it's an unfortunate situation, right? That's pretty much what it is. She was having
Oh.
fun with her friends.
Yeah, if they're friends. Let's say they're
Exactly.
friends, yeah, but, okay.
Her friends left her. She was drunk. And a guy who was sober enough to
To get it
know what
Yeah.
he was doing
Yeah.
took advantage of her.
Oh, yes.
Do I think it is 100%? Okay, 99 to 1.
Okay.
I'll give her 1.
That's what I
Fine.
said. Well, that's why I said 99. Half her,
Half.
half her friends.
It's half and half.
Her friends have.
Well, then you can say that, and then he's gonna come back and tell you, well, so then her friends are responsible for her?
Yes.
Really?
Your
Yes.
friends are not responsible for
Okay.
getting you out.
Do you know how many
No.
times, okay, so let me put it this way.
So then
Do you know
that's,
how many times I've gone somewhere with him and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna stay all night, and he's like, okay. And before we're fucked up, it's like, yo, I'm gonna jam right now. Are you cool? You gonna find your own way home? And he's like, yeah,
and you trust him?
all right.
Because there's so many times that I've talked to him, and he's like, I probably should not have drove home.
Which is why I drive him places and then leave him there.
Yeah.
But
I Uber back.
again, Uber's it bad. The other thing too is it's like,
So Betty Girl says men need to act like damn gentlemen.
yes, they do. I don't disagree with that statement at all. I think that both parties have responsibility. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying about fantasy football.
Look at her. What are you upset
Take
about?
care of
I'm
your
not.
own life. But yes, Vetty girl, 100%. I agree.
Moral of the story: don't beat women and don't rape them.
Yeah, It's not that hard. Like it, you know,
No means no.
no means no. And
Unless-
if you can't get a solid response,
But from a salesman's point of view, the
no,
first-
don't go there, dude. Don't go
Okay,
there.
never mind,
No,
So let me just add this before we stop this
Okay.
conversation.
no, because I have one more hard-hitting question. But go ahead.
You don't have daughters.
I do not know.
So
That he knows.
will that change? When will your mentality change about accountability? Will it change when you have a daughter? If you have a daughter?
You're asking me to tell the future. I don't know. I
I'm
don't know.
saying if you
Hey,
had
we
a
talked.
daughter.
We talked a lot of hypothetical fucking
I
situations
know,
right
and
now.
you
Really,
give
you
me some
can't.
extreme fucking
really,
shit.
you really can't.
So
even-
you're not gonna give me this. I'm trying
Come
to tell
on,
you,
bro.
it's very easy for you to have this perspective because you do not have a daughter.
Okay.
But if you had a daughter,
Mhm.
would you hold the same accountability towards her?
I think I would.
Okay.
Simply because if you know how much accountability I hold my own son to, I think I
Well,
will keep that.
I
Okay,
don't-
I'll give you two examples. One, yesterday, fat lady in one of those electrical carts in Target. She was getting up to try and get a box of juice off. I go, boom, go run and get that box of juice for her. Just high hand sprints it down the aisle to go help her. Why? Because that's what I hold him accountable to, help people out. I also explained to him that women do not have the ability, there's like a genetic error in their makeup. They can't open doors. It is his responsibility as a man to open doors for women. They can't do it. The handles don't work.
Yeah.
I was
That's so cute.
100%
That is so
joking with him.
Yeah, I know.
But
that is so cute though. That's a good
His
one.
job is to hold the door open. So he did at a restaurant, held the door open. Unfortunately, it was a busy restaurant, so he held the door open for one old lady coming
Happens
out.
all the
That
time.
is
man.
And then
so
somebody
cute.
was
Happens all the
walking
time.
out,
I get it.
and then the next person was coming
And
in.
and that is
It's like-
so adorable.
and
before
finally-
he's a doormat, he's just standing there waiting for
Finally,
everybody to-
someone goes, I got this.
Oh, that's
We'll
nice.
change shifts. And then
So
but,
cute.
but when you ask me, would I hold my daughter accountable to know where you are, know your surrounding? I think I would, because it's the same thing that I teach my son.
And
Look around, know your surroundings, know where you are. Where's dad? Who's scary?
Yes.
Who's not? Dad's got a gun. Hide behind dad. Watch dad shoot that guy. Like,
yes, but that is not.
uh,
My dad said to hold the door for you. That's different. So I
Why is it different?
because what you're telling me is that you're telling your son that women are not capable, which I get what you're saying. I get it. It's playful
It's
and
totally
it's
gonna
so
get
and it's
spun
so
around.
cute,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that it's different when you have a daughter.
I think I would tell my daughter the same things from a different point of view. Don't you dare open that door. Don't you dare open that car door.
But hold on,
Make
hold on,
his
hold on.
ass come around and open that door for you.
But the
But
society
is
that we live
that
in now.
going to hold her
Yeah.
from holding her
The-
own, being at a party drunk with men?
But also too, like the
Yes.
way that women want to be, I don't call it perceived, but
Right.
they want to be equal. Like, why can't I open my own door? Like, I know some women get mad about that.
I had a
Like,
woman tell me I can open my own door, and I wanted to slam that door in her face so bad. Like, okay, fuck you. I'm trying to be nice. You don't want it, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it had one of those shock things. So even if I tried, it would
It
only
was
go
like-
like
it's
4
gonna go-
inches, and then I would look stupid. So I was like, okay. But you ask, would that keep her? No, nothing that a parent can do is going to keep their child from doing any one thing if that's what they choose to do. You can only try and reinstill over and over
I know.
some
I just
choices.
was curious as to
And
your
so,
perspective on this if you had a daughter.
my hypothetical perspective would be the same thing
back,
that I
in the
would
back.
tell my daughter had I had one is, do not open that door. He will come around and open that door, and if he just doesn't, then just stand there. If he drives off.
And
then
now
just go.
here, I'm gonna say this, and I will stop at this because then we can keep going. But does that teach her that now she's going to wait on a man? So if she's in a position where a man is telling her something, she's going to believe it because she had to stand there and wait for him.
It depends on how you spin it, because I wouldn't spin it that she has to wait for him. I spin it as
There's one in there.
you are good enough to have somebody open that door for you. One thing that I've never done, but you know, the old fashioned put your coat down over like the muddy puddle so she doesn't have to. Personally, I think that's dumb. Like you're gonna ruin your jacket. Like I'll
Yeah,
throw you over
I'd
my
rather
shoulder.
just carry you.
I'd rather just throw you over my shoulder and carry you. But that type of, I guess, teach. If I had a daughter, my goal would be to teach her her worth, and in that,
Will
one,
be strength. She
amongst
won't
other
be
things.
gullible.
If
She
you are
won't be.
if you are valuable, then no, you are not
I was just curious.
submissive to
That's
a
what I-
man
yeah, exactly.
in regards to
And
worth.
and that's what
Not
my thing is.
necessarily
Nowadays,
decision making or what, but
yes.
worth wise.
But nowadays, you have to teach them both. You have to teach them. It's not only equality now. Nowadays, it's you have to respect yourself enough to know your worth, but then you also have to respect yourself enough to know that you don't need him. And it's not to say, it's not about this whole Me Too anything. It's just I will be okay with or without you, right? So
Sure.
that I was just curious.
It's like RESPC. No, alright.
So my last hard hitting question, and we're
Oh
gonna take
man, I thought we were
another quick break to get all the folks involved in this. If you were in charge of the Kansas City Chiefs or any organization,
Damn, I knew you were gonna say this.
would you hire Kareem Hunt?
Would I? Okay, wait. Let's go over this. So he was released from another team.
Oh,
He's already
he has
released.
no job. He
I
is-
know he's released, but
Yeah.
I'm saying he's released. So you're telling me would I rehire him?
You have the opportunity to. It's your choice. You are the next team up on the list. You have this opportunity.
Damn, that's hard.
You're the general manager and or slash owner. And the reason I ask you is because football is a boys club. All the men are owners.
And
99% of them are
Tyreek
white.
Hill too is on the Chiefs, and I think he is baby mama.
Did he?
Yeah. But
All the general managers are men. There's, I think, one female ref, like one. They're working on a female coach, which I think is interesting.
yeah,
I don't necessarily agree with the locker room aspect of it. Because you've been in the men's locker room. It is not PG-13. It's not R. It's like X-rated conversation. But I think she would know that going in, and if you accept it, then you accept it. But anyway, I digress. You run a team. Would you hire Kareem Hunt?
It's hard because you can't accept his behavior. You can't accept what he did.
You keep saying.
I
you,
know.
not me. You.
I'm trying to think. This is hard because you have to make an example out of him.
But why make an example?
Because he is in the public eye.
Was Ray Rice the example?
Was he the example of what?
I mean, do you make an example out of every single person?
Well, yeah, because you have to
Okay.
be consistent, right?
So
That's like saying you're in a classroom and one person speaks out of turn, you only give one person detention, but then there's 3 other people speaking out of turn and you let them stay in class. That's
so
not-
Ray Rice has never played again. Joe Mixon has.
that happened before he got
Yeah,
drafted.
see, I don't know.
Yeah, but
I
is
don't know.
that-
That's kind of.
To you, okay, so then
This
while
is a
you
lot
think
more
of that,
difficult than anything else that you've asked
while
me.
you think of that, is it different for you that Joe Mixon did it in college and not in the pros?
Yes,
Okay.
and the only reason is because he
He's not
wasn't
doing
getting.
that.
It's not his job.
Okay.
Not saying that it makes it right, but it wasn't his job.
It
He
makes
just-
it.
He's
this,
not.
this guy's already getting paid. Like, if you were interning for a company
Mhm.
versus working for them and did the same penalty or whatever, or before you started working for them, you did that. Like, you can't hold that person. You hold them accountable for the time that you're with them.
So then, would you give Kareem Hunt a second chance?
Yeah, probably.
And I can see how.
That's because.
Well, no, but I can see how that's consistent with Joe Mixon.
Mhm.
He made the mistake. Richard would be willing to hire Joe.
I mean, okay, let's just be real. He's good at football.
Yep.
And would you take the backlash? Yeah, probably. But if it helps you win football, it's very
But see,
simple.
look,
It's very
but
no,
now
no,
you're,
no,
but now you're thinking of a perspective of if it helps you win. So are you thinking in a coach perspective, or are you thinking in a businessman who's?
I'm gonna give you right now. So, Kobe fucking got,
Right.
yeah, he got accused of rape, right? That got acquitted, whatever. So let's say he gets past this, right? once he's acquitted of the charges or whatever, if he is, and then you go ahead and sign him, all you gotta do is win, because that's all Kobe had to do.
Yeah.
Once he won, everybody
And
forgets
change
about
his
that
number.
shit.
He changed his number too.
that's
He
all
got
you
rid of
gotta
the he got
Like-
rid of the raper number
Yeah.
and got a different number. Would you hire him back?
I don't know. It's very hard. This is the hardest question you've asked me.
But he wrote that was barely a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I.
Uh, yeah.
It's hard because now I don't know how to think about it because I understand why the NFL has to take action,
Mhm.
but like you said, only certain people have come back and some people have not been able to. So I honestly could not tell you. Okay.
Ray Rice's problem was he was 30.
Yeah. He
Oh,
was
okay.
older.
So
Yeah,
there
he
were
was
factors
older.
in there where they were just
Well,
like,
it was easier for
It
them
was
to get rid
easier.
of him.
Yeah, because once you're a running back, you hit 30, you usually
done.
don't get good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say you're done. So they said he was done anyway.
I just gotta say something wrong.
I mean, you
it's
don't have to.
You can. I mean, but everyone's gonna
We,
know.
we get
People are
to
gonna hate me for this,
we
but I
could-
probably would hire him back.
You know, and
Probably.
here's kind of, and again, this is from a man's point of view, not
It's
a
a
woman's.
man's world.
I'm not even thinking of a man or woman's point of view. I'm thinking of like the scenario and what
Business.
happened.
I don't see why you, depending on how he handles the situation, I don't see why people wouldn't be willing to hire him back. In that, with the caveats, with the asterisks, all of that stuff is, if he comes back and he goes through anger management classes, if he does what he needs to do, works with, you know, the things that Ray Rice did, but actually never found a job after is, you know, worked with his baby's mom or his wife to build their relationship. He worked on his anger management. He worked with the women's groups to understand the situation, to better his life, to change who he was, to change his behavior, to change his outlook. Why would we ostracize somebody who makes a mistake, makes amends for said mistake, and then attempts to go on and build themselves a better life? Do we hold one person's mistake responsible for the rest of their life? In some situation, I can see, if you were accused of, or if you were convicted of murder, you did your, let's say 20 years, you get out, you can't go be a cop. And so that I do understand, and if that's the rule that the NFL is gonna set down, then, you know, unfortunately, you broke the rule and you're not able to.
Yeah, but that's not a rule yet. It
But it's
has,
not-
it has to be
and
like
that's-
the government. You can't
have
get
to-
arrested for a crime. If you did a crime today, but then tomorrow it's illegal, you can't go to jail
Yes,
for that.
Correct. So, but what I'm saying is, there is no rule for it, so why wouldn't we want, and then also understand that there are so many outlets for help with an NFL club. And everybody keeps saying-
I think he's young enough, so that's why I said yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
and
can,
he's good enough.
I mean, when you look
If he
at,
wasn't that good, he wouldn't get a job.
no, not at all. But when you look at Ryan Leaf got arrested for drugs and all this stuff, and he has spent his entire life since then trying to better his life and help other people and help people understand the mistakes and all of this stuff. Why would you not embrace somebody who realizes they made a mistake and has just done everything they could to better their life and
You're right. Because then now we're promoting something where, oh, you make a mistake, that's it, you're up. You'll
Right.
never get another chance. So you're right. That's part of the reason why I said yes. Obviously, there needs to be some kind of consequence where he needs to understand
Oh,
he
yeah.
cannot do that again.
yeah.
Do
I'm
I
not
feel like the
saying he
NFL
gets-
has handled every situation like this the right way? No. Because there's plenty of times where they could have kept it consistent enough.
Okay, what would you like the NFL to do differently in the Hunt situation? Because this one bothers me. What would you have had the NFL do different? He's not playing right now.
No.
I think they
I don't really know though.
think they
I
went
don't know that there's really much else they can do. They had a private investigator look into it.
Yeah.
They asked the police for the video. The police said it's a misdemeanor. We didn't even get the video. They asked the hotel for the video.
Exactly. So, which at that point is there really isn't any deeper of an investigation other than the videos that were out there, right?
And they tried to get the video, and the hotel said, "Charlie Holmes, you ain't getting it."
Yeah.
And then TMZ got it.
And
As
TMZ
long,
got
I
it.
feel like as
But
long
because
as he
the TMZ got
understands
it.
that this cannot happen again, he needs to be an adult. He's getting He's working like an adult. He has a job. And this was another thing I was gonna say is that in your contracts, like let's say when you're a movie star and you're filming a movie, you can't go snowboarding off the fucking mountains and break a leg because that's out of your contract. You hurt yourself and now you cannot do your job. So I'm sure somewhere in the contract it says
You can't.
you
punch a girl.
cannot get in trouble, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because then you're out of your contract.
Mhm.
So he
Ben's
had a job
contract,
to do.
Big Ben says he can't ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got in a
Like
fucking
these, even
car,
the
got in an
footballers.
accident.
Yeah,
So they can't. Wasn't it
Idiots.
Tom Brady or who was it that got on the bike?
Yeah.
that was
Was-
Ben
was
Roethlisberger.
it
He
Ben?
put his
Oh,
head
okay.
through a windshield.
Genius. So that's my thing is that like there's certain things that he should not do. So he should suffer the consequences. Do I think he should have been released and he should never be picked up again? Obviously not. He's still young.
And that's why I asked you: is would you hire him back?
I
And,
would
Yeah,
eventually.
it'd be difficult, but again,
he has
I
to go,
think
he has to go to his
Eventually.
meetings.
no,
Yeah.
but I honestly think
Yeah,
that
but he
if-
needs to have some kind of a thing where it's like, okay, I learned my lesson.
you can spin it to be positive and be like, look how he's rehabilitated, look all the good work he's done.
You're
We're
right,
gonna
because
give
then that's
somebody a
promoting
second chance.
positivity and
So
change.
we'll see.
And
We'll be right back.
all right.
I haven't even went on my rant yet.
I know, Jesus, you were worried about filling time today.
I mean,
With this one talking all day
This is
long.
Amalia.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
bringing good